Welcome back, everybody. Todd here. If you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. Today we're back up here at the Northland and we're going to continue on with the build project on the machine shed. So come on with me and let's take a look at where we're at. I've got a 2x6x12 rafter that I'm going to put up there. I've got all my tops marked for 4 foot on center, and we're going to go ahead and put the first rafter in place, mark our bird's mouths and our cutoffs, and make that into a template, and then I'll just duplicate those for the rafters. We've got our rafter marked for the bird mouth. You got that. We've got the end cut off. Got the other over here. Same deal. So I'm going to go ahead and cut those out. We'll stick them up there and put them in place, make sure everything's good, and then this will just kind of turn into a production line. I'll go ahead, use this as a template and cut the rest of them, trace the rest of them out and cut them out. We've cut them out, we've tested it, fit it, and we'll come around here and let's take a peek. There you go. Inside. Can't see it very well, but perfect fit. See the one up there? Looking good. And take you up here to the top. So there you go. I've got it laid out and I'm just traced it. You can see the line there. See the line there. Come down here. Just matching them up. That one's going to be fun. It's right in a knot. And there you go. So it's just a production line of getting those cut out. I've got all the rafters cut and set in place. Measured off. Everything looks good. So we were going to put the hurricane clips on and then pop the rafters right in there. But honestly, it's going to be a lot easier to seat those. Now that the rafters are there, we'll just pull those up nice and tight, fit the hurricane clip, and palm nail the nails in. So that's what I'm about to do right now. The rafters are up and they're all permanently attached. We have all of the hurricane clips in, both across the back and the front, and each of the rafters is also toe-nailed in with framing nails. And we've got one of the purlins up across the very front. That's going to establish our width of the building. Looks like we got about a 14-inch overhang from that inside rafter, but that's set in a little bit, so that's misleading. It's about a 12-inch overhang on the rake of the building, or the side. And so the next order of business will be to duplicate what we've done across the front here and put that back purlin in. I have the purlin across the back installed. So those are that's held in just a little bit so that when the fascia comes up, it can clear that. And so yeah, that's all nailed off. And then I've marked 2 foot on center all the way down on all of these rafters. So we're ready to go and just start slapping purlins up there. I think I'm going to do the purlins first, all of them, before I worry about wrapping the fascia front, back, and side. So I've laid all my purlins out. Now I just have to, and I've got the marks, as I mentioned earlier, where they're supposed to go on the rafters. Now I just have to figure out how to hold them all in place, how to do this by myself and keep them all in a nice straight line. The purlins are tacked in place, all of them. So working by myself, what I did is I took the 2 courses that I had in, the front and the rear, and there's 14¼ inch overhang from the edge of that rafter to the edge of the purlin. So what I did is I came in, I laid all of the purlins out, just unattached. Then I put them on my mark up there and put a screw in the end of each one and measured out my eave at 14 1/4. So that's all uniform across there at 14 1/4. Then I went inside, skipped that rafter, and put another screw in over there. You know, I marked them all out, so I put a screw in over there. Then I went on the other side here, kept going, working left to right here. You can see where the joints are. And I went ahead and I pinned them right there, made a nice tight joint. Went all the way down, got all of those. Then I came back and worked the outside rafter up on the marks. So now it's all pinned together. I haven't actually gone through and measured all of these, but what I'm doing is I'm joining a 12-foot 2x4 to a 10-foot 2x4. Building is 20 feet wide, so that should give me roughly a 12-inch overhang. So it should be all uniform. Worst case scenario is I can come back and trim these because I know the outside over there is all uniform. So now I'm going to go through a lot of ladder work. I'll be climbing up and down, but I'm going to nail those all off with framing nails and get them all secured good, and then we can look at moving on. This is where we left off yesterday. Got everything buttoned up good. Now it's a matter of getting the fascia boards on all the way around it and the rake on each end. So that's what I'll be up to today. Okay, we put the fascia boards on. We built the rakes out on the side here. You can see fascia board across the top. You can see where the Perlin comes up. Yeah, I'll show it to you better on the back. Let's go around back. Here we go on the back. So there's your fascia board. You can see the Perlin up there, that 2x4 that sits up top. The tin's going to come down across that Perlin. It's going to stick out past the fascia board here by about 6 inches or so. And then what I'm going to do is run a 1x8 rough sawn all the way up to the bottom of the tin and down just below the fascia board. And that way, underneath here, we'll put some plywood to fill in the soffit. So that's the way that's going to work. Kind of come up, look at the rake. You can see I've built some ladder, kind of laddering in there. Same thing here. It's going to come that outside trim. The tin is going to come out about 6 inches or so past the purlins. Then I'm going to run that 1x8 up against the top, and that'll hang down a little bit. Same thing here. You'll fill in plywood underneath there and box that all in. So there's your framing for your soffit and your fascia. So the building at this point is complete and ready for tin. One thing that I'm going to point out to you that might save you some money and time, you can see that seam right there on the fascia where those two 2x6s come together. Now what a lot of people will do is to cut that back here at that rafter and then run another one, so you're always hitting rafter to rafter and you're sharing that seam on the end of a rafter. But what I've done, the same thing with the purlins up top, you can see that I've got those brackets, those joiners, and that allowed me to just do a 10-foot and a 12-foot 2x4 and then join those, you know, in between. They're obviously tacked together pretty well, so they're not going to twist or come apart or anything like that. And now you can float that right through there. No cutting, no waste. So the same thing here. If you look at the back side of that 2x6, you can see that it's got one of those on there. Same thing on the other end. So just when you're doing these kind of buildings, I think that's one of those things that can save you time and money. We decided not to use the repurposed material that we have for the roof. there's just too many holes that are going to fall in between, and so it's going to be peppered with all kinds of holes that we could put some foil tape on the bottom of and fill that in temporarily, but it's going to be a forever battle against that. It's just too nice of a building to do that, and so I'm going to go ahead and suck it up and put brand new tin on the roof rather than repurposed tin, and that way we have a nice solid watertight roof on it. And then we're going to go ahead and do the 1x all the way around the Amish rough sun, all the way in around the outside. So that's what we've decided to do.